Tiger Woods reacting to the fact that plenty of the golfers yesterday wearing the traditional Tiger Woods Sunday uniform, black pants, red shirt. Very moving for Tiger, who was in that awful car wreck last week. We wish him the best as he recovers. That caused us to come up with an inspiration for today's draft, the coolest NFL tributes. Chris, trivia question. Tiger Woods went to Stanford. There are 2 Stanford alumni who currently are NFL executives. Name them both.
Whoa. John Elway's one, but the second one, hold on a second here. Let me pull up the teams here.
I'm stunned.
John Lynch, duh. That helped me. Thank you.
Just saying I'm stunned?
Yes. When you said I'm stunned, I knew it was somebody I had been with before. And when you said that, I was like, oh, gosh, you're right. And so thank you very much. I appreciate that. Bam. Killed it. All right. I think the first one I'm going to go with here will be Sean Taylor and what the Washington football team at the time did, right? They lined up with 10 football players to start a game. Well, because, of course, he was the starting safety and one of the best safeties in football. That was a pretty awesome tribute that will be my first pick. Certainly an awesome player, tragic death there for Sean Taylor. I played against the guy. He was one of those guys, Mike, where you were like, is this really a safety? Like, what? How the hell can he be a safety and that big and move that way and everything about him? He was awesome and certainly left us too quickly.
Amazing to think of what he could have become.
Yeah.
And he was maturing. He was developing. He had some rough spots early in his career, but he could have been every bit as good, if not better, than Troy Polamalu and Ed Reed. And I have a feeling he's the kind of guy where you always want to know where he is on the field just because
Definitely.
You don't want him to do to you what he did to Brian Moorman in the Pro Bowl that one year, which was as devastating a hit as you'll ever see. Go look it up on YouTube once you're done enjoying today's edition of PFT Live. First one for me, and it happened last year at the Super Bowl, and we were in the press box in Miami, and I was sitting there with MBS and Shereen Williams, and it's like, what are the players doing? Like, I didn't understand what they were doing. Why are they out on the field? Why are they lined up where they're lined up? They were doing a Kobe Bryant tribute. All players from each team on the 24-yard line on each side of the 50. And it was just days after the death of Kobe Bryant that turned the sports world upside down. It was the topic of conversation all week long at the Super Bowl. People were upset. People were stunned. People were surprised. People were moved. And so many current athletes had looked to Kobe Bryant as an example, as a role model for their efforts to fight through adversity and achieve the best they could. And that was completely unexpected, out of left field, happened the day of the Super Bowl. And I'll just never forget that feeling of wondering what they were doing. I don't know how it was handled on TV, but I remember sitting in the press box being completely perplexed at what we were seeing.
Yeah, that was really cool. Listen, I thought there was like 3 things that you could, and I'm not going to do it now that you brought that up, but 3 things just from that Super Bowl that you could probably pick. You know, the way they honored, you know, the 100 greatest players of all time and all of that stuff. I thought that was really cool. And then really, I still get chills about just the spectacle of the 100th year of football and the kid, you know, the passing of the torch video and the kid running into the tunnel. I thought that was really one of the more well-done pregame events that I can remember. That was really cool. But you're right, the Kobe Bryant was awesome. I'm going to go back to something that was, you know, hit home to me, and that's the yellow armbands for the Gulf War back in, you know, the Super Bowl 25. I thought that was an amazing tribute. Of course, the NFL is so strict with their uniforms and everything like that, and you can get fined $10,000 because there's a centimeter missing on your blue sock and all that crap, right? But that was a great way to honor our troops over there in a very tough, weird time. So the yellow armbands, certainly one that rings true to me.
Second time that's come up in less than a week. It was one of the artifacts I want to own, the Everson Walls yellow wristband that was on the cover of Sports Illustrated after that win over the Bills in Super Bowl 25. Next one for me is a tribute that didn't happen, but that Peyton Manning wanted to do when John Unitas died. He wanted to wear black cleats in honor of Johnny Unitas. And back at the time, talk about no fun league.
Well,
all the players had to wear the same Keller shoes. Now you've got a range of different shoes you can wear, and now they do the My Cause, My Cleats once a year. But the Colts wore white, so Johnny Unitas' black shoes could not be worn by Peyton Manning, and they threatened to fine him, so he didn't do it. His quote at the time was, "I think every quarterback should wear black cleats this weekend in honor of John Unitas." But just the fact that it was a big story, and it's a shame the NFL didn't let him do it. But that's one that I always remember.
Yeah, I'm with you there. I mean, that is one of those where you'd go, come on, NFL, like, come on, let's use a little common sense here. This isn't that big of a deal. And that speaks into, like, what I was just saying, the 1 centimeter of, blue not showing on the socks and all of that. All right. I am going, like, personal here because this to me was one of the coolest tributes I've ever been a part of. All right. Would be my dad's retirement. Okay. My dad's retirement. They're playing the great Dallas Cowboys. They're going to go on and win the Super Bowl on the opening Monday night of the football season. But screw my dad part. Okay. All right. Screw that. What was cool was Lawrence Taylor being there. And my father got to throw a pass to the greatest giant of all time, right, in Lawrence Taylor. And it just was an amazing moment as a young kid for me to witness that, do that. And, here's the best part of it, Mike, all right? Because my dad and Lawrence were very close throughout their career, right? And I think this was a time maybe they hadn't seen each other in a few years. Lawrence shows up at the retirement thing. And I can still remember Lawrence walking out in the field with us. And, I was always in awe of Lawrence. I mean, he was like bigger than God. But he goes up to Dad. So now Dad's going, I want to throw a pass to Lawrence Taylor. And Lawrence, I don't think, had any idea this was going to go on quite like this. And I'm sitting there close, and now Lawrence is, coming up, and he's giving the ball to my dad, and I can still remember him going, okay, don't throw it too hard. He said something like that. And, Dad kept waving him down the field and hit him. But that, just for me, from a personal experience, was as cool as it gets.
Was that the night that you were there?
I was there with the comb over, and that's right, the comb over, and I was the freshman quarterback. There I am. Woo, man! Look at that hair and that polo shirt, and look, there's my mom. There's Dirty Diana, and then there's my dad's mom, Big Barbara Simms, who I told you. Look at her. She's 5'11" and got hands like a middle linebacker and square shoulders, and. That was just such a cool night. Also, what I was worried about that night, I was a freshman starting on the varsity football team, and all the older guys were like, you're going to be on TV tonight. You better give us a signal. If you don't give us a signal, we're going to kick your butt and haze you tomorrow in the locker room and all that. So I had to, sit there and rub my ear. They want me to rub my ear. I'm in the background of my dad's retirement thing, rubbing my ear just to make sure I didn't get beat up or tortured by some junior or senior on the high school football team the next day.
I'm surprised you didn't scratch your ear with your middle finger. I really legitimately surprised. Yeah, that's stunning to me. Okay, last one for me. I remember the first time I noticed it, and it's been there ever since. The permanent memorial to George Halas on the uniform of the Chicago Bears. Right. It's always there. The GSH, it's always there. I thought the Dolphins should have done something like that with Don Shula's initials or name or something. Work it into the uniform and make it a permanent part of it. Some of these figures are too closely connected to an organization to not be remembered permanently. And I suspect GSH is going to be on the Bears uniform for as long as the Bears are playing football, Chris.
Yeah, that is it is really cool. It's so, it's such a part of you forget it's even there sometimes until you say it and think about it and you go, yeah, I forgot. It's hey, special guy. It makes you think, why does Green Bay not have something about Vince Lombardi somewhere on their uniform too, just to remind everybody that, he was a huge part of their organization.
One quick thing before we take a break, something I found that really didn't fit into this category, but it kind of does. The model for the Walton Payton NFL Man of the Year trophy, which is one of the best trophies in all of sports. Stephen Wright, a guy who played in the NFL back in the 60s, and he's still alive. He's 78. But he was the guy that they built that model from, and it's also that awesome logo patch that everyone who wins it wears on his jersey for the rest of his career. Right. Stephen Wright, guy who played back in the 60s, not a remarkable career, but that was, with the big those big giant capes they'd wear over their uniforms during the games. So that was kind of awesome.
Hi, I'm Mike Tirico, and thanks for watching. Make sure to hit subscribe for the latest news and highlights from NBC Sports.